Hello friends and welcome to episode 1 of a short series I'd like to do on a game called Long Live the Queen by developer Hanako Games. It's a game that just showed up fairly recently on Steam, and it's I guess we would call it like an event-driven, maybe somewhat text-based, anime-style approach to a queen simulator. And the thing that's really the focus here is we're going to be living out the minutiae in the everyday life of this young girl who just found out that her mother has been killed or died. I'm not sure exactly what the circumstances are. And we're going to be micromanaging her life in order to make her the best possible queen, to keep her country afloat and make sure that everybody is doing well. The thing is, everybody in the world is going to be after her and trying to kill her in a very large variety of ways. So it's this strange blend of kind of cute and dangerous and scary at the same time. Which is something that I haven't really done much of any of that sort of a thing on my channel before. So, getting out of the comfort zone, not a bad idea sometimes. So before we get started and into things, let's very briefly look in the preferences, make sure everything is set up properly. I have the sound pretty much tuned properly. Text speed as fast as it goes. Auto delay, I'm not sure what that does exactly. And one thing, if you do choose to grab this game, I do want to mention the video settings are pretty weird in this one for some reason. You can't really set the resolution, so yeah, it is just kind of how it is. Anyway, let us get into things. We're going to go back to the title screen, and should be aware before we get started, this is going to be a pretty text-heavy game, so if that's something that bothers you, well, I'm going to be trying to read through things as well as I can, but, again, if that's a thing you're not into, then maybe this isn't for you. But let's start it out. Alright, so this is Jocelyn King Dewagger, the Duke of Caloris. We're almost home. Your room is just the way you left it. And we play as Elodie, Crown Princess, who is somewhat disenfranchised with the world right now. So Jocelyn says, I know it's hard to leave your school and all your friends, but I've arranged the best possible tutors for every subject. You'll have to work hard this year to prepare yourself before your 15th birthday, but I know you can do it. You'll learn quickly, and you'll make a wonderful queen. It's just what your mother would have wanted. This is not what Mother would have wanted. She wouldn't have wanted to die and leave me. No, she wouldn't, but sometimes bad things happen. We have to pick up and carry on. All of Nova depends on us, on you. Sigh. I will be here to guide you until your coronation, but the decisions you make are ultimately up to you. Come, your maids are waiting. Welcome to Long Live the Queen. If this is your first time playing, you should read this brief introduction to how the game works. Now, I have actually played the introduction a little bit just once before, and that was while I had a terrible headache, so I absorbed basically none of the information. Didn't actually go any further than that, so we're going to start that and see what it says. So tell me more. You'll be controlling Elodie, the almost Queen of Nova, as she tries to prepare for her coronation. To do that, she needs to take classes every week or so to raise her skills. The skills she learns will provide different choices in the ongoing plot. Learning the right skills can mean the difference between life and death. You also need to keep an eye on Elodie's mood. With her mother's tragic death, Elodie is not very happy right now. The mood button will take you to the emotion screen for more details. Ooh, the game has an emotion screen. That's not a thing I've really seen done too many times. And this is sort of reminding me a little bit of like some of those games that Ryan plays, like the Europa Universalis. When you see the stat screen, you'll know what I mean. And also, it's got a little bit of like that subterfuge element to it. So let's go to the mood. And also a little bit of like a Persona sort of a style too, since there's sort of a network of relationships, I think. I might be a little bit off on that. But anyway, Elodie is feeling afraid and depressed, but her strongest emotion is depressed. If she becomes more cheerful to cancel out the depression, her strongest emotion would then be afraid. Alright, so she's having a very tumultuous time in her life. That's quite reasonable. And to be thrust into this position of now, not only has your mother died, but now you're going to have to assume the role of queen. That's a lot to put on a young girl like that, so let's click ahead. Elodie's current mood affects her ability to learn. It will give her a bonus screen to some skills, or a bonus to some skills and a penalty to others. Let's take a look at the skill screen now. Alright. Looks like a lot going on here. Skills are broken into 4 main categories: social, physical, intellectual, and mystical. Inside these categories are skill sets, groups of 3 related skills. You start with 0 in all skills. Every week, Elodie can study 2 skills. Normally, she earns 2 points in a skill for every weekday that she studies. So if she studies history, she will earn 2 points times 5 days equals 10 points. Alright, so you gotta do a little bit of math here. Pretty basic. Because Elodie's depressed, she has a -2 penalty to the social skill set Conversation. She doesn't feel like talking to people right now. If she studies Conversation, she will earn 2 -2 points per day. That is 0 points. So that would be a pretty bad move. And I guess this is some of where the strategy might come from. However, she has a +1 bonus to the expression skill set. If she studies one of the expression skills, she will earn 2 + 1 points per day, which means 3 points per day, 15 points for the week. So that's a way that you would maximize that situation, so you take it in the other direction. If you study a skill you have a penalty for, you could be wasting your time and not learning anything. If you study a skill you have bonuses for, you will learn much faster than normal. All of these bonuses and penalties will change when Elodie's mood changes. She can also gain bonuses to skills by studying related skills. Check the skill screen every week to see your current bonuses. I feel like there's probably a more concise way to have just described all of that, but that's alright. Once you know your mood, skills, bonuses, and penalties, you are ready to choose your classes for the week. Alright. So we'll see if I can actually parse that information and put it into action when we get to the part where we actually have to start making some decisions. The classes screen breaks down skill sets by category for your morning and evening classes. When you select a skill set, the 3 options in that set will appear on the right side of the screen. Choose a class option for both morning and evening classes, then click the Done button, which will appear in the lower right corner. As you play through the story, you will sometimes see feedback bubbles appearing over the text. These tell you what's happening behind the scenes. Bubbles like this will show you when Elodie's mood is being altered by events. Bubbles like these will show you when the story is changing based on what skills Elodie has learned so far. If the test fails, there is some option being missed because she doesn't have enough points in that skill yet. This seems like something they really should have done and taught through demonstration instead of just giving you all of this at the top. Because I feel like all of this is kind of gonna go over my head when I start actually playing the game. But hopefully we'll be able to steer things back on course. This feedback is very helpful in figuring out different options to try, but if you don't want to see it, you can turn the bubbles off in the preference menu. Now get ready to become a queen. Wow, okay, I guess we're just gonna become a queen now. So here we are. I guess we are now free to do some things. What is our very first step? So we want to check out our mood. We know our mood, actually, because we just looked at it a minute ago. So she's very depressed, not cheerful at all. Skills. Alright, everything is still at pretty much 0. Okay, we've got a -1 to athletics, a +1 to animal handling, -1 to royal demeanor, a -2 to conversation, +1 to expression. So she's withdrawn, but she wants to express herself, so it's sort of an interesting way to express anger in a way, because she's both... Oh, it's kind of a cool way to sum up emotions if you think about it. So conversation, she's withdrawn, expression is up, so that's sort of a way of saying that she wants to have an outburst in a way, if you put those pieces together anyway. So, alright, what do we do now? So we gotta go to classes. So I should probably make note then of what my things I want to focus on. So decoration, instrument, voice are all positive things right now. And animal handling could also work out to our advantage. So we want to avoid conversation and royal demeanor. Decoration, instrument, so you gotta, like, remember this stuff as you're going. You can't just have this... Oh, I don't want to, like... Okay. Allows you to... Oh, okay. Is this actually highlighted because of my bonus to it? Animal handling, I know that was a positive. Oh, it was actually highlighted, or already lit up. I just need to come over here. This interface could use maybe a little bit of work. Decoration, drawing, painting, arranging flowers, dressing well. Instrument, skilled musical instruments such as harp or flute. The skill of singing beautifully. What would we like our young queen to do? We could have her drawing, painting, and arranging flowers. I don't know how useful that really is, but what would give you the most therapy, I guess, in a situation that you're feeling particularly down? Probably this is passive enough that you could get away with it. And I guess animal handling, I don't know, maybe she likes, hangs out with dogs or something. Maybe you could turn that into hunting. Can I have both, or I have to pick one or the other? Oh, and then I go down here, and then I do evening classes. Okay. I understand. And then we go and do that. Alright, done. So then the game should play out based on what we've picked. You discuss the nature of beauty, looking around at landscapes, objects, and people, and comparing their aesthetic elements. So we've gotten the +15 on that one. Afternoon, you visit the kennels and learn about different breeds of dogs. And I think we've probably gotten the most out of that. So this also, it's got a little bit of like a Yogg feeling to it, which is kind of cool, where we're sort of charting our own adventure based on our decisions. And I think things do really stack up as we go on. So Elodie says, "What's all that noise outside? Who's here?" "Oh, it's my cousins and my aunt and uncle." Oh, she looks awfully happy. So this is Lucille, Countess of Nyx. "Darling, we are so terribly sorry to hear about your mother, Fidelia." "Thank you. You look nice, niece." "Hi, Elodie." "Oh, that's Charlie, Lady Merva." Everyone's got such fancy names. We're calling her Elodie or Lodi. There's going to be a lot of names that you guys are going to get very angry at me for mispronouncing in this. "Hi, Lodi. I haven't seen you in ages. Will you be staying long?" "Yep, Mommy said we'll be here all month." And we got +1 to cheerful. Okay, that's happy news. Maybe we'll have some time to talk later. Now that you're finished studying, what will you do for the weekend? Okay, so what choices do we have? We can play with toys. We can sneak out. Each of these has its own little bonus. +1 to lonely, +1 to cheerful. That's a strange combination, actually. Talk to your father. Attend court, +1 or +2 to yielding, depressed, and pressured. Oof. Explore castle, lonely, and afraid. Visit tomb, depressed, or afraid. Oof, man, these are rough. Attend service, -1, depressed. I think that's probably what we should do. Oh, visit dungeons, no effect. Or we could visit Charlotte to get a mystery bonus, which since she was more cheerful as that, maybe that's a good idea? I don't know, let's try it. "I love this room. It's so much bigger than mine back home. You should visit more often. It's awful that the only time I get to see you is something like this. I know your brother and sister are still too young, but why haven't you come to school? My mother worries about me. She doesn't think anywhere but home is safe, and apparently from what I've seen of this game, that might actually be true. I understand I'm probably not going to be allowed to leave the castle until my birthday, but at least we can have fun together here." So plus another 1 to cheerful, and that should counteract some of the depression. So now we can go back to mood. Yeah, we are moving up 1 scale now. So current mood is now afraid, both of which need to be addressed. Yielding and lonely are pretty much equal. I would have thought that maybe... that doesn't really seem to make sense to me. Pressured versus lonely are the two counteracting. I would think, a feeling of being with other people wouldn't necessarily be pressuring, but, maybe in this case that is the situation she finds herself in. So, looking at our skills today, I guess we're not going to keep the same bonuses from one day to the next. That would be kind of too easy, right? So, our next bonus seems to appear in the form of mystical, under any of the faith subcategories: meditation, divination, and lore. And that seems to be the only... Oh no, there's also physical for agility, dance, reflexes, flexibility. So all of those are kind of nice as well. So it's tempting to just put all of your points into whatever the bonus of the day seems to be, but I'm sure you could also mold your character in more of a flexible way if you just choose to go with some of the neutral points. But the bonuses seem kind of tempting, right? I mean, it seems like you would want to get the most bang for your buck when it comes to these classes. But at least we are able to really fine-tune things the way that we choose. So, in this case, we wanted to do... What's in military? That's probably not going to be that useful. Agility was one of them, so we could do dance, knowing the steps and carrying them out with grace. The ability to respond quickly to surprise, that seems useful. Reflexes, I think we should go with reflexes. And what was the other one? Already forgotten in the freaking 3 seconds. It was faith. So we can do meditation, finding and maintaining your own inner peace. That seems like a very useful thing for someone who's dealing with grief. Divination, interpreting signs from nature of what the future might hold. That seems like a path that might not lead to anywhere that useful. Lore, the magical history of Nova. That's interesting. I'm going to go with meditation just because it seems like the most practical for the situation that we find ourselves in. Week 2, morning. Your teacher walks around with you, prodding a finger at you slowly in order to train you and blocking these touches without triggering fear or faster breathing. Okay. You practice assuming a sitting position that allows you to be relaxed and tranquil without being so relaxed that you're likely to fall asleep. Interesting queen training, I suppose, but okay. Alright, so after class, what's that commotion outside, Father? What's going on? This is Juliana, the Duchess of Ursel. I have come to pay my respects in honor of your mother. You have no respect or honors because of you and your powers that my wife is dead. Uh-oh. Intrigue has laid in. What? I am a lumen, as was she, and like every lumen, I am willing to give my life if necessary to protect our domain. Your line has been traitors for 200 years. I won't have you corrupting my daughter. That is for the crown princess to decide. Alright, so I guess this is where we get to have a line drawn in the sand, so to speak. Elodie, your mother trusted me, and I have much to teach you. Well, I mean, if they're known as traitors, I don't think we need to arrest her necessarily. She did come here of her own volition, and she was here to pay her respects, or at least so she says. So, arresting her seems a little too much. Letting her stay, I mean, she might end up becoming a bad influence if that's the way we choose to perceive things. I'm not sure, maybe my father's the one that's actually trying to spin things here. That is the tough situation about having zero context. But I'm going to go, and since this is my first time figuring all this out, I'm just going to try sending her away and see what this does. +1 to angry, +1 to yielding. You heard my father. Get out, leave, and don't come back. As you wish, I will return to my duchy until you call for me. She won't. Okay. Now that you finished studying, what do you do for the weekend? I can talk to my father. So what is our worst thing right now is afraid, right? I could continue visiting Charlotte. I would like to get some more cheerful, but I don't really want to increase lonely. Let's attend service out of respect. You attend services in the Castle Grove, letting the peace of the ritual calm your heart. Figured that would kind of go with the meditation theme that we were going with on that last day, or that last week, rather. So let's look at our skills now. What do we have in terms of bonuses today? Physical is definitely a big bonus. We got 1.15 up on that. Faith is continuing to stay the same, so it's actually the same two things, essentially. That is if I'm still reading this correctly. I mean, he's got these little bonuses there. Or is this actually just my total, isn't it? This is just what's accumulated. Alright, that's fine. So let's, we'll try something a little bit different today. And we'll go to our classes. What do we want to pick? Let's try conversation. It's so strange that this branches from here to over here. Like, why wouldn't you have this pop out of this or something? Or have this be like a drop-down menu out of it? So we can do the ability to use words while under pressure, proper etiquette for all situations, the ability to tell someone what they want to hear. I think public speaking is a really good thing to have as a queen. And then for evening, running, ability to move swiftly and surely across land, scaling ropes, rocks, and walls, or endurance and speed when crossing water. I'm not sure what situations are going to put me in the need to swim a whole bunch. It seems like people have failed me as the queen if I'm in the position where I have to do a lot of swimming. Probably should, learn a little bit about weapons at some point. The ability to use blade for both formal duels and deadly force. The ability to strike a target at range. The ability to wield a long staff or ceremonial weapon. These are all very interesting. I think we'll do athletics, running. See how that goes. Done. Week 3 morning. You practice tongue-twisting sequences of syllables to improve your enunciation. Very nice. And then we get some bonuses here for running. You practice walking at a brisk but comfortable pace for a set length of time every day. Okay, well, I guess that's something. Charlotte, he loves me not. Loti, do you not have a boy, or do you have a boyfriend? Not really, I just like to play with the flowers. Me too. You gather your skirts and prepare to sit down, and all of a sudden a hissing noise alerts you to hidden danger. A snake! Don't move! Oh, we had a test on reflexes. You grab for a stick and push the snake away, but you lack the skills to do the job properly, and poking the snake only makes it angry too fast to see. It lunges forward and sinks its fangs into your leg. Ow. Snake slithers away, but it's too late now. A strange tingling sensation begins to spread through your flesh. That's a milk viper. They're poisonous. I don't feel good. Your leg is going numb. You stumble and fall to the ground. Hold on. Your cousin kneels beside you and presses her hands over the bite mark. The area throbs painfully, then begins to feel warm. After a minute, you're dizzy, but your leg isn't buzzing anymore, and even the wound has disappeared. How did you do that? I don't know how I do it. I just can. I'm not supposed to tell anyone. People think it's freaky. You won't tell, will you? Of course not. I'm just lucky you were here. And Lucille shows up. Girls, what are you doing out here? Or what's going on out here? I heard yelling. Nothing. We saw a snake, but it got away. Snake, that's it. Charlotte, pack your things. We're going back to Merva. Not safe here. Because you found a snake, it's not safe in this entire region? Like, you don't have snakes in your own region. That's dumb. Well, I'm glad that wasn't the thing that killed me, because that would have been an unfortunate and very soon end for our first princess iteration. I guess we're going to call her first queen. So we finished studying what we want to do for the weekend. I don't know, apparently the gardens are filled with dangerous snakes, so maybe I should never go outside again. Visit the dungeons for +1 to yielding, +1 to afraid. I don't think we want anything that gives us +1 to afraid. Well, okay, which way does it take it? If I go +1, am I gonna actually go down in the scale, or is +1 meaning I go up towards away from being afraid? I'm not sure. I should try talking to my father and see what he says about everything. Dad, what really happened to Mom? She was a Lumen, a magic user. It was meant to be in reserve to defend our domain, but she insisted on... You don't need to hear that. She used magic. It drained her strength. She thought it was harmless, and it wasn't. Eventually, her heart just stopped. That's why I don't want you involved with it. There's another game I played. It was a Girl with a Heart of that involved... I think it was a girl with a mother that had her heart stopped because of magic or something like that. Or is it a similar story anyway? Alright, so let's look at our skills again. What are we sorely lacking in? Well, probably economics, pretty important thing to know about. Medicine, not a bad idea as well. Neither of those seem too problematic to increase, so why don't we think about possibly doing some of that? So we're going to do medicine and economics today. Checking our mood, it seems we are now a little bit below towards the yielding mark instead of willful. I'm not sure how bad that is to be yielding, but I guess maybe it gives us some trepidation in certain checks for things. Cheerful is now almost canceled out from depressed. I mean, we're almost back to the medium here, and afraid is still our prevailing mood, so let's go to classes. Economics, I can do accounting, treasury profits and expenditures, trade, how goods are bought and sold between locations, or production, natural resources and how they are made into goods. I think accounting is a really good thing to have. And what else did I want? Medicine, right, that was the other one. So herbs, knowledge of helpful and harmful plants, that seems a pretty good one. First aid, dealing with immediate injuries, that also seems very good. I think we should definitely have that. Okay, week 4 morning. You brush up on basic mathematics with the help of an abacus. Alright, I'm glad we did that. Afternoon, you learn that wounds, even minor ones, should be washed as soon as possible to prevent dirt from growing under the skin. Dirt grows under the skin? Well, I guess we're speaking in very rudimentary terms, but okay, we'll say bacteria. The castle seems quieter with Charlotte and Emery and Zara and their parents gone. Certainly not empty, though. It seems like we get more servants every day. I wonder what the economic position of our kingdom is. Now you finished studying, what will we do for the weekend? Maybe we should get... Yielding, lonely, and cheerful. I guess this is a mystery depending on the situation of what we actually end up talking about. Lonely and afraid, plus depressed, +2 afraid. I should do something simple. Play with toys. Let's see what happens here. Spend the weekend holed up alone in your room with your favorite toys. Childish, but you feel a bit better. Just need some me time, I guess. So how's our mood doing? Depressed is now giving way to cheerful. That's good news. Afraid. Well, I guess when we're given the choice between afraid and angry... Yeah, I mean, you want to ride the line as close as you can, but, you know, afraid as opposed to angry, not necessarily the worst thing. Especially if it's, you know, in a minor degree. In this case, it is. So, looking at our skills again, I'm not sure I always have to do this, but I just want to keep checking in on them. We could just go and look for something a little bit more specific, or maybe we could try and do a little bit more of something that I've already stacked a little bit. History would probably be a good thing to do, and maybe we could do a little bit more in terms of medicine or economics or something, or military is probably a good idea as well, except that has a minus to it, I see. Kind of want to avoid too much faith, mystical stuff. Apparently that's a problem for us. So let's go to our classes and try intrigue. What are the nobles and other citizens up to? Foreign intelligence, what other countries are up to? Ciphering, learning to read and write secret information. That's kind of cool. Let's do some internal affairs, business, and then maybe some history. Notable events and locations in the domain. Notable events and relationships between this domain and neighbors. Long-term information about the world in general. Well, it's always good to know what's going on in the world before you try to apply things to your actual local region. So let's hit done on that. Alright, how are we doing on our studying in week 5? Oh, we had a penalty to afraid. Apparently that was a bad multiplier there. She didn't even say anything about it. You look at the globe of the world, reading names and places so distant you can't remember ever hearing about them, and other areas left blank because no explorer venturing there has ever returned. How mysterious. One of the maids approaches you for attention. My lady, couriers have arrived from the Duke of Sedna. We have a Duke of Sedna? Oh no. See, this is why I needed to study more. No, my lady, the Duchy of Sedna is in Talas. They've brought you a letter and a gift. Condolences on the death of. Deeply regret. Best wishes. Oh, what a beautiful necklace. Something sparkly will make me feel better. Uh-oh. Court manners. Oh, okay, so I wasn't the best in receiving that gift. But see, the thing is, we don't know. If we fail a check, we may end up actually putting on, like, a necklace that was, I don't know, poisoned or, like, has a trap in it that might kill us. So these are all things that, if we don't study the right things at the right times, we're going to end up dead. Because everybody seems to want us dead for whatever reasons. We're just this, you know, horrible little girl. Everybody wants to take our land, I guess, probably is what it's all about. So what do I want to do now? Let's look at our mood again. What would increase? I guess we want angry instead of afraid, if that's an option. And we want willful. So what can we get to get a combination of angry and willful? Lonely. Is there even anything that can just straight up give us angry? I guess probably not, right? Well, willful seems nice. Let's do willful and lonely. You sneak out of the castle and have a little fun. You enjoy your freedom, but your father won't like it if he finds out. But will he find out? I don't know, maybe not. She still looks terrified. I don't know if her expression ever changes in this screen, though. And I guess probably angry is a thing that's going to come from dialogue decisions or something like that. So, what do I need to study today? Military's -1. Agility, I could get some more reflexes or something, or flexibility in. I do need court manners. I think that's probably a good idea to get some of that at some point. I'm not sure what the point of changing my uniform is, really, but I guess we'll find out eventually, right? And also, does this calendar do anything? No, it doesn't seem to. I mean, it shows us these symbols, these, like, I guess they're kanji, actually. But that's not really going to help me out a whole lot. There's so many things to learn and so little time to do so. I think reflexes seem like a really good thing to have, and then we should also study... what was it? Royal demeanor. The ability to bear pain, fear, and surprise without flinching. Or of confidence and command. I think that's definitely important. I mean, all three of these are, I'm sure, quite important, but we'll check this out and see what happens. You practice with a jump rope to increase the speed of your footwork. You practice solo tennis, hitting a ball against a wall repeatedly in order to train your hand and eye to react. Neat. You may now play sports on the weekends. Cool, so we've opened up a whole new thing to do. Our presence, and there's a penalty to afraid. Or the penalty is afraid. Studying does not ever breaks away. It doesn't ever read anything into that. We never get to read about it. Selene, or Selene, priestess of the second circle. Your Royal Highness, I would like to speak to you, or I would speak with you. What is it? Failed another thing. Your mother wielded the power of a lumen, as have the kings and queens of Nova before her. Now that she is gone, that responsibility falls to you. Her crystal of power is now yours. My father said I shouldn't get involved with magic. If you don't, who will defend your domain if the Krakens rise again? I have seen signs of the future. Danger is coming. I can teach you to control your powers, but first you must seize your birthrights and become a lumen. I won't do it. I'm going to resist. +1 to yielding. I think that would be the other way around, wouldn't you? No, my father said I shouldn't, and I trust him. You're trying to corrupt me. Your Highness, leave me alone. I don't know that she necessarily is trying to corrupt me, but still, I'm just going to try and play the character this way today. So I get +1 to angry, -1 to lonely. That's exactly what I needed, actually. So we're going to pick sports. Oh, maybe minus is actually in the other direction. You take to the court for a few games of tennis, feel the thrill of competition. Alright, let's look at our mood. Oh, we're actually pretty balanced right now. I mean, we're going a little bit in every direction. I think the only really positive one that we want to keep up, I guess, while cheerful and willful both seem like positives. Angry doesn't seem like we definitely want to push it up, and pressured doesn't necessarily mean anything that good. So let's look at skills again. Don't worry, I'm probably going to stop just looking at this pretty soon. I need to keep it in my head what I have and haven't developed yet. I've been trying to diversify pretty well as we get started here. We probably want to do court manners. Proper etiquette for all situations seems like a pretty useful thing. And conversation. No, what was the other one that I wanted to do? Logistics? Be able to move troops and supplies in timely fashion. That seems good as well. Oh, there's so many good things here to study in. Weapons, I have no training in weapons so far. Medicine. Let's train in poison. That seems like a thing that happens a lot. People get poisoned all the time. Alright, you review the correct greetings for guests according to your rank, or to rank, and when to extend your hand to another. All nobles expect their due honors. The first treatment for most ingested poisons is to purge the stomach by forcing the victim to eat powdered charcoal, which can absorb dangerous substances. Alright, that's good information. As you're walking up the stairs, a maid comes running down, holding a towering pile of linen. You swiftly step aside. Test reflexes success. Okay, don't let her pass. It's a weird thing to have be like the main prevailing sentiment of that moment. So I guess we could continue to push cheerful. Lonely is not feeling too bad, but I guess we could have a little bit of pressured. +1 to depressed. Is there anything else that gives us pressured? No, I think it's really just that one. Oh, attending court seems pretty, like an important thing to do as a soon-to-be queen. Sitting in on court sessions is not fun at all, but it pleases your father and it may be important to your future. That's what I was thinking. Alright, so her face has actually changed. She doesn't look quite as terrified. Now she looks a little bit bored or something. Oh, yielding has gone way in that favor. Well, I guess that makes sense considering I attended court, so she's probably feeling pretty bored. So we'll look for classes. What do we want to do today? Make sure that we don't have any negatives in... I kind of want to do weapons. Oh, there's a huge negative in weapons. Okay, what can we do then? Royal demeanor. I guess this can be demeanor day and history day. Okay, let's do that. Composure and history in Novan history. Done. See how this goes. Okay, bonus from yielding means we get a whole bunch of points. That's excellent news. You practice deep breathing exercise, learning to find and maintain a sense of inner calm. So that kind of goes hand in hand with the meditation from before. So we're maximizing our yielding bonus. You read the history of your domain. Hundreds of years ago, Nova was the center of a great empire spanning the length of the western coast as well as a few island territories. Over time, your influence has waned. So not only is our soon-to-be queen learning this stuff, but so are we. There's a man here to see you. He wishes crowdfunding for a project. I believe there's a little joke in there. Remember, the treasury is not unlimited. If you choose to invest, you'll have less money to work with later. That's interesting that he would let you make this decision. Man says, Your Royal Highness, I have a plan to print books using metal letters which can be moved and reused. This seems like a very, very important thing to use or to invest in. I need to borrow 875 lassi to assemble the metal and a factory to mold and cast the type. That doesn't seem like a whole lot, but I don't know what our current trade system is putting our economy value for, our currency at. With this system, we will be able to create new books in a fraction of the time it takes now and makes copies ascend all over the world. So, I mean, being high in literacy, I think, is a great thing to bestow upon your people, and I think that certainly pays out in dividends in the long run, and especially if you're the controller of such literacy. I failed anyway. I don't know much about factories or trade. Would that really have been worthwhile? We're not interested. That's unfortunate. Oh, I kind of was leaning toward wanting to do that. What's our mood doing now? Okay, fair enough. What do we want to do today? sports just strictly give me +1 to angry at this point. That would put me at perfectly even, so maybe we should do that. Take to the court for a few games of tennis, feel the thrill of competition, very nice. And I think this is about where we should wrap up our first episode. I wasn't sure exactly how long one session of Long Live the Queen would be, how quickly they choose to kill off your princess or your queen, but since this seems to have been going for long enough, I think this is probably a good place to cut it. I will save the game at this point, and we will resume exactly here for the next episode. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this very different, somewhat experimental episode. Episode 1's kind of determine the trajectory and the scope of where a series will go. So if you enjoyed it, please do consider leaving a like, and we will get back to this next time. And of course, let me know what your opinion in this this sort of a very strange game would be for my channel. What do you think this goes to do to fit into the scope of the other types of games that I tend to cover? I'm very curious to hear your opinion. So with that, I will leave you for next time. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you come back for the next episode. Later.